interesting because we haven't really talked these past couple of weeks. So there's not really necessarily a lot to catch up on, but there's a lot to catch up on,
I
right?
mean, there's a
So
couple trades we got to talk about real
for
quick.
sure. We've had a few trades, but actually, I think the trades and the firing go hand to hand, right? So for those who may
Yeah.
not know, but I mean, obviously they played since this happened. Jets have fired their head coach Robert Saleh a couple weeks ago. Shockingly fire. However, at least to me, right, where obviously offensively they wasn't really the best at all for some reason. They just could not get the ball. They couldn't really score. They were having struggle scoring, even though all their players were healthy offensively, or at least their main guys, right? Being Aaron Rodgers, Brees Hall was back in the mix. They still had Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, and this, that, and the third. But however, they still seemed to struggle offensively. Yet I think they were one of the worst teams offensively throughout the season up to that point.
Yeah.
So they play the Bills. They lose to the Bills by 3, right? Now,
Mm.
granted, they put up 20 points. Aaron Rodgers threw a pick like he's been doing in a lot of clutch games this year, which has been kind of shocking as well,
You
especially
think
what
he
we
watched
know.
now?
He might be. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's on the back end for sure, right? I think he's on the
Uh-huh.
back end. Um, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is he's it's just a name now.
Yeah.
I don't think I think with respect, right? You're going to respect him as a player, what he's done. But I think the player he is today is definitely not the player we once saw.
The accolades are
Um,
done.
yes, I think the accolades are done. I just think that, I mean, respectfully, I think he's still a good quarterback. However, he definitely gets a lot more credit. Like he gets a lot more grace
Yeah.
now because of what he's done back then.
Yeah.
You know, in my personal opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers has definitely been. This might be a crazy comparison, but I just need people to follow me.
Oh,
I might need people to follow me.
controversial.
Aaron
Controversial.
Aaron Rodgers to me is the Kyrie Irving of football. And when I say that, right, skill wise, Kyrie in basketball is like recognized as one of the best players to ever touch the basketball, just
Okay.
like Aaron Rodgers. Whereas as a quarterback, most people will give Aaron Rodgers the most skillful quarterback they've ever seen throw the ball, right?
Okay. Okay.
As somebody off the field, Kyrie and Aaron Rodgers to me move a little similar because they're definitely like lack of a better word or better phrase, flat earth thinkers. You know
They
what I'm
got
saying?
foil on their head.
Yeah, type thinkers. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't, I'm the only one to knock them for that. However, that's just kind of what their persona is, right? So I think now, obviously, I think as of today, I think Kyrie is a way better basketball player than Aaron Rodgers is a football player today.
Well, he like turned it
But
back on.
yes, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like they have to me like the same, like there's a that's
Like same
it's like
storyline.
kinda in a sense, at least today.
Yeah.
But I think Kyrie's definitely proved to be a lot better. But I think for to me, I put them like in the same thing. I don't know, it's just a weird way I kind of put players together.
He's kind of
However,
like Kyrie in Brooklyn.
yeah, probably, yeah, could be, yes. So I think with Aaron Rodgers, I think he gets a lot of but okay. First of all, Robert Saleh got fired. According, there was articles about Aaron Rodgers basically not getting along with the coach. You could
Mhm.
see it during the games. He was pushing him off. He wasn't really having a real friendly relationship with him.
Mm-mm.
And to me, Aaron Rodgers is definitely coming off very diva-like, because not even diva-like, but more like I can blame whoever I want, but y'all not gonna blame me. Like I can point the fingers because of who I am and not what I've done,
Mhm.
right? And I feel like Aaron Rodgers has a lot of history with pointing fingers, so he's been able to like basically be like, "Oh, we not winning or we not performing well because it's his fault. We not doing well because it's his fault or him, and not really pointing himself and being accountable."
Yeah.
And if you look throughout the season, a lot of the interceptions in the late games has been because of his fault, either overthrowing somebody, short throwing somebody. But for some reason, nobody has yet to really blame Aaron Rodgers. They blame the scheme or the coaching that's behind him.
You think
And
because he's saying like we shouldn't have even been in this situation to where I have to like throw just, throw the ball up there and hopefully the receiver catches it?
maybe, but I mean, it's football, bro. Like, you never know what the situation is going to be like. You can
Yeah.
play the worst team in the league and be in a close game.
Yeah.
So I don't think that necessarily matters. I just think that Aaron Rodgers he doesn't he doesn't really do well with I'm not even saying he doesn't do well with. I just think that he doesn't get blamed for a lot and he gets the ability to point fingers at a lot of players or a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I think now, just to fast forward a little bit, Robert Saleh got fired. They lost to the Bills, and immediately the very next day traded for Devontae Adams. Right? They traded for Devontae Adams. I think they gave up a second round pick, I believe,
That was a
a
third.
second or a third. Third, okay, thank you. They
Yeah.
gave
I
up a
think it's
third
a third
round
round
pick.
pick.
They play against the Steelers Monday night, and they still offensively struggle.
You still trash, bro.
They still struggle. So obviously, I know for a fact that's not going to be a telltale of the season. I think that with Aaron Rodgers, with having his go-to guy back that he's had for so long, they'll get their rhythm again. It's almost like riding a bike, right? If you ain't rode a bike in so long. But it's definitely alarming to get that type of player back and then still put out the same results as if he wasn't there or if the coach is not there. So
Yeah.
at the point, it gets to a point for Aaron Rodgers where he's pointing so many fingers at people to the point where like people need to start pointing fingers at you. Right now, mind you, like I said, it's early. We only got time. It's more time that's gonna tell, and we're gonna figure it out as the season progresses. But right now, they're sitting at 2-5. After getting blown out by the Steelers by 15, 20 points on the road. So they play the Patriots next. They should win that game. They got the Texans at home. They may lose that one, but that's a winnable game. They go at Cardinals. They got versus the Colts and the Seahawks. That's like their next 5 games. Those games are very winnable as well as very losable. So
I say they
hopefully
win
they can.
two.
Right, but that's still from what people thought that they were going to be. If you say they win two, that means that they will be 4-8.
Yeah.
That's not a playoff team. That's
Nah.
damn sure not a Super Bowl team. And that was the projection of the Jets was at least a playoff team, a deep playoff team. And some people thought Super Bowl. I personally didn't, but I mean, after they competed with y'all, the Niners, and had pretty much a kind of a close game. That was kind of the idea that they maybe figure it out and they'd be cool. But it's turned out to be otherwise. So
Yeah.
as far as the Devontae Adams trade, what do you think it does? And then what do you think is wrong with the Jets as a whole? Or if it's any issues, do you
Um,
think Devontae Adams is the answer?
I thought he was gonna be the answer, so I'm a little upset because on my fantasy league I got both the Jets and the Steelers as my defense. So I was
Oh
trying to
yeah.
decide between who I was gonna start, and I was like, you know what, Devontae Adams is back with Aaron Rodgers. They gonna shred up the Steelers defense, and the Steelers offense is not really there. So let me go ahead and put starting the Jets because I was like, I don't want to start, my defense against Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Like we've seen them together before and they just destroy defenses. So I was like, all right, I got this. I was so wrong. I was completely wrong, bro. They went in there and they completely stopped them. I don't know what was going on, but Devontae Adams did not really make a difference. They showed his highlight, and it was just him tackling the dude after he intercepted the ball. So he didn't really do anything for the game.
Mhm.
But I really thought that Devontae Adams was gonna. I mean, it was game one, so we'll give him that. We'll give him some grace. It was game one. Maybe they need a couple games to click. But I already seen like on Twitter that Devontae Adams was already thinking of trading before the deadline to a different team just because he didn't like the way that went.
Mhm.
But I think it's just an organization problem right now because they got great players. Like we always think that the Jets defense is supposed to be one of those top elite defenses, which they have great players there. So there it shouldn't be a problem on that end, but for some reason they're allowing teams to, to score on them. And then when you think about their offense, you think about, right, Brees Hall, and he's a great running back. Then you got Aaron Rodgers, who's a vet, a Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion, and then you got was it Wilson? He's a great wide receiver. And to add on Devontae Adams, you would think that it would make this defense just that much more elite and that much more just unstoppable. But for some reason, they just did not look like that. And it could be because the Steelers have a great defense as well. But that doesn't give an excuse to why this team has not been winning. Yeah, you got Devonta Adams now, but like even before that, you were still expected to be a great team, so where you're at least making playoffs. But for some reason, they just can't get it together. But I think it's just an organization thing. I think it's just we haven't really known the Jets as being a good team, so I don't think the Jets really know how to uh just develop players right now. They need the time to be able to learn how to do that because like I said, they have a lot of great players. They're just not developed to probably be to their best potential yet. So it's just an organization problem. I don't think Salah should have been fired though. I don't think that was his fault. It's just unfortunately the I guess star of the team happens to be a vet that has a lot of power and they didn't like him, so he got rid of him. But yeah, the Jets just need to look at themselves as an organization and say, okay, what are we doing wrong? What can we fix? Who do we need to hire to come in and to help us with just like training these guys and helping them develop into the players that they're supposed to be? Because they got good players that have a lot of potential. They don't know how to bring it out of them yet. So I think that's what's going on right now.
I'm not necessarily mad at that. I think there is. I mean, the Jets. The Jets really haven't been. When the last time they made the playoffs? Probably what 2013, I believe, something like that. Um, and that was with what Mark Sanchez, I believe, or something like that. It feels like I want to say they made it a little. I don't want to say they made it after that, but I could be wrong. Um, yeah, the Jets are. The Jets have a lot of potential to be a really good team, and their defense is. I think they're still pretty elite. I think they're still one of the better defenses in the league. They do have some weak points. I know they was having issues with the D line at a certain point at the beginning of the year, but they still have. I think one of the better
It
secondary
says
is
the
still look
last
pretty
time
good.
the Jets made the playoffs was 2010. They went to the AFC Championship against the Steelers and lost.
Yeah. So been a long time.
Yeah.
Um, so I think with them, I don't know where they start to fix this issue. Um, I think, like I said, I think we just kind of got to give it some time. They may not make the playoffs this year just because of how behind the eight ball they are. Luckily, they are in the NFC. Let me see. What is the record of whoever's winning the AFC East? Because that would kind of give me an answer of what I
It's
can really
Buffalo.
say. Yeah, with
They 5 and
Buffalo be
2.
Buffalo's 5-2, so they're literally in the lead by themselves. Dolphins is 2-4, the Jets is 2-5, and the Patriots is 1-6. So that division really
Disgusting.
has, yeah,
It's
that division as a
disgusting.
whole is just really not that competitive. And unfortunately for the AFC East, it really looks like if you don't win that division, you probably won't make the playoffs unless like the Jets would probably have to go. It's 7 games. They got what 10 games left in a year. They would have to go at least like They would have to probably go like 9-1 or like at worst like 8-2 to finish out the year. Don't really see that
Hmm.
happening. And also on the fact that we have a lot more teams that are good. Like we have outside of the Bills, right? You got the Ravens at 5-2, you got the Steelers at 5-2. The Bengals are 3-4, but they can make a run and get in that playoff spot. You got the Texans at 5-2. They probably gonna win that spot. You got the Chiefs at 6-0, Broncos, Chargers, like they're all at either 500 or relatively close to make that run as well as the Jets if they wanted to. So they're just so behind the 8 ball right now. I don't want to say the
Miami
season
got
is
Tua
over.
back. Yeah.
Like I said, they're just so behind the 8 ball to the point where it's like for me, I just don't really see it. Like it just for me, I just don't really see it. Obviously, I mean, obviously the trade for Devontae Adams was to save this season or try to at least, but it might be too late
Yeah.
to be honest. So, but
Yeah. I hope they get it together. I hope, Devontae Adams didn't waste his time going over there. And
do you
because,
hear
I
that in the
mean,
background?
no.
Okay, good.
What's in the background?
My girl is listening to something. I don't know if
Okay. I mean, as long
yeah,
as we can't hear, we ain't gonna get flagged for it, so whatever.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I hope Devontae Adams can, you know, say that it was a good move for him to go to the Jets. I don't know if what I saw was like fake or anything of him like already deciding that he wants a trade before the deadline happens.
yeah.
I saw it on Twitter, I saw it on ESPN, but I don't know if that was fake or if that was real. But I hope it's not because like, bro, you played one game with them and you already decided like, I don't know if I want to be here right now.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean,
I
because
don't
I mean,
know.
he went from one shitty situation to another. The only thing that's different now is that he got his best friend or one of his quarterback that he trusts. Like this
Yeah.
is this is the only quarterback he's ever known to trust. So like he's going to except he gonna roll with the punches because he's going to hope that it gets better, which like I said, I think it will, right? I just like I said, I just think they're so behind the 8 ball that even if they do figure it out, it might be a little bit too late for that. But you just never know. It's the NFL season, more things could happen, injuries could happen.